live show. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics, and I have another unboxing that I want to do, and it's actually in a box this time, so you will get the excitement of watching that happen, which I'm sure at least 12 of you are going to be very excited to see. But this is another auction that was an ending auction. It wasn't a buy it now or best offer. This was an auction that was supposedly there for 7 days. Not one person bid. I waited until the last second before I gave my bid, and I won it without anybody actually doing any bids whatsoever. So, I mean, these are not mega grails or anything, but when you see there's two comics in here, and when you see what I got, um, you're going to be amazed at the price I paid for them. This auction ended at about 12:37, well, but roughly about 12:38 a.m. So again, another late night auction. So I tell people all the time, look for either late night, early morning, or on holidays to find deals out there because not as many people are going to be on looking for these comics. But like I said, this was a 7 day auction and not one person bid on them. So, while waiting for people to come on in, and I see Papa Ken Comics and More says, Chris, I can't to see the books. So I'm sure you probably meant to say, I can't wait to see the books. You will not have to wait too much longer, good sir. Hopefully you are enjoying your day. Welcome to the live chat. And even if you're not subscribed, ladies and gentlemen, come join the live chat so you can get a surprise subscriber shout out possibly at the end. You don't even need to be a subscriber. You just got to have a conversation in the live chat. So you can at least say one thing at the end. I will pick those two. And there's a little, minor little bonus that you can get for being that. But let's give a shout out to my Patreon members. If you want to support my channel, not only supporting the comics that I do and show in these videos to help you guys educate yourselves on how to become better collectors and especially investors out there, but also the Patreon helps support the 20 stray cats on average, because it does fluctuate from time to time, um, that I take care of on a daily basis. I feed them water, provide shelter, toys, vet bills if necessary, and got them all spayed and neutered. So if you want to contribute to that, you can go to patreon.com/we love comics. You'll get your name up on this board and shout it out every single video. And if I can get up to 20 paid members within any given month, I have giveaways that I'm going to give away. So shout out to Sith Lord, Michael B, Kevin W, Dan L, Herbert R, Annabelle N, Jason B, Kim N, Blessed. And then the last four, people wanted me to put their social networks. So if you'd, instead of your first name, I'll never give your last name out because I don't want to give somebody's personal information. But if you'd prefer me to do a link to your social network, or maybe you have an eBay auction or an Amazon auction store, or you have your own business and you want me to promote the website, hey, for minimum of $2 a month, it's a tax write-off, so let me know and I'll do that for you. So let's give it up for Kendall Kid Comics over at YouTube. On Instagram, check out at ScottWU077. On Facebook, go see Stephen L. Turk, author. He wrote a book. Hopefully you'll check it out. He's writing a series of books, kind enough to send me an autograph copy, and sent out about 4 or 5 autograph copies to some of my viewers on a contest, which was really nice of him. So say hello if you can. And then last but not least, on Instagram, at Silver Age Surfer _comics. So I also see James Logan is in the house, says hello, welcome. And if anybody wants to critique the AI art, by all means, I appreciate and I do respond to each and every comment. I actually got about 10 comments on my last video, which is more than double what I usually get. So to the people that were kind enough to leave a comment after the video uploaded, I appreciate it. So if you want to critique the AI art, positive or negative, I'll leave that up to you because art is subjective. And here is the tier list for the Patreon monthly paid member giveaway. The minimum to enter is the minimum to enter anybody's Patreon, which is $2 a month. But for every $2 you put in, you'll get an entry. So if you put in 4, you get 2 entries. You put in 10, you get 5 entries. So the more you contribute, the more chances you have once we get to 20 paid members. I will mail them out anywhere in the world, and I will pay for the shipping, so it costs you nothing other than your contributions to help my channel, and again, help the stray cats, where primarily most of the money goes. So your contributions absolutely help. So let's put on the video camera without further ado. And as promised, it is an actual box. Now, there are not graded comics in here. There's only 2. So good job, at least with the seller for their packaging. But I won this comic on April 18th, and I just got it the other day. The person was making story after story up. Well, I can't assume it's a he. The person that was selling this said first, because it was Easter weekend, they said that uh, the post office was closed on Monday for Easter Monday, so he couldn't mail out the comic, or they couldn't mail out the comics that day, which was untrue because it's Easter Sunday. The post office is not closed on Monday, but I let it slide. Then then the seller said they'd mail it the next day. That didn't happen. Then they said the next day, and so on and so forth. And it wasn't until about a week later that they actually mailed out the comics. Seller claimed that these books were coming from Jamaica, but yet the label and the shipping tracking numbers show it coming from uh, Florida. I won't give the state away or anything like that. So, as long as they are what they said they are, that's all I care about in the end. But this seller was definitely in no hurry. A lot of these sellers, they're very happy to take your money, but once they get it, they don't like to do much. Okay. So, the first one we're going to have to open. And by the way, guys, I want you in the live chat, or if you're watching this later on in the comment section, to tell me what you would have paid for these books. What would be the most? Because remember, this isn't a buy it now or best offer. This would have been an auction. So potentially the chance of other people bidding or outbidding you. I want you to put in the live chat if you're here live, or in the comment section later on, once you see these books, tell me what would be the highest bid that you would have bid on these two comics. So the first one is Uncanny X-Men number 142. Obviously, that is the storyline that was the Days of Future Past. This is part two. There was part one and part two. This is a newsstand variant. This is the one where everybody, quote unquote, dies, which is not really a thing in comic book world. But, and I want to verify, you always want to make sure you verify, and I've seen his signature dozens of times. It is signed on the first page by Chris Claremont. I have several of his autographs. I mean, obviously, nothing is 100% guaranteed because unless you're there, you'll never know. But I've seen and recognized his signature. So, as far as I'm concerned, and from what I've seen in the past, um, it is authentic. Let's just take a look. It's got off-white pages. Looks like everything's in order. No coupons cut, no writing other than the signature. Let me see. I don't know if this one has a Marvel value stamp. I don't think it does. But let's just go through it anyway. All right, so no rips in the pages. We'll check the centerfold as well. So everything looks good. Yeah, I don't think this one has a Marvel value stamp, but I can see all the advertisements are there. No writing, no coupons missing. Centerfold is completely perfect. The staples are bright, shiny silver. There's plenty of gloss. I would say this is an easily between an 8.5 and a 9.0. So you can see it still has its luster. It is a newsstand variant. I'll show you the back. So I would say easily this is an 8.5 to probably a 9.2 range. Might even go a little bit higher with the pressing, but I doubt it. But even still, looks pretty good. Okay, so that's book number one. Book number two is going to be a little bit easier because the signature is on the front. This is King Size Annual. It's Marvel Team Up Spider-Man and the X-Men number one. This is an early appearance of the new X-Men, and it is signed by Stan Lee. So this is a Stan Lee signed book. And let's just open this one to check out the inside, make sure everything looks hunky-dory. Now, it does have some dents in it, but that could be pressed out. So I don't base it on what the grade is now. I base it on if I get this graded, a pressing and dry cleaning is going to help that. So this is creamed off-white, some light tanning on the bottom edge, but overall, no coupons cut out, no writing. Staples are intact. There is a split right there on the bottom. So that would probably bring this to a 5, to a 5.5 probably. Pressing absolutely will help this book. It's got some edgings along here. There's a couple of color breaking creases. So yeah, probably after a pressing, I would say about a 5 to a 5.5. Now, if you know anything about a Stanley signature, and obviously without being there, I cannot authenticate it, but I will get this graded at some point. King size annual Marvel team up Spider-Man and X-Men #1, signed by Stan Lee. If you know anything about Stan Lee's signature, his signatures bring at least $125 to $150 increase in value just on his signature alone, despite the fact that his signature is far from rare. But he's no longer on this earth, so you can't get any more of his signatures, so it will create desirability. And that's why I tell people something does not have to be rare to be desirable. I mean, how many people will pay extra for Stan Lee's signature, and he's literally signed tens of thousands of books, including books that he had nothing to do with, like DC books. And I've seen someone do like a Spawn book where he signed it, and other Image books. So his signature is not rare, but again, you're talking about $125 to $150 value just in his signature alone on an average increase of a book. So I want you to put in the live chat. Now, I recommend people go on eBay, look up Stanley signatures, look up these two books. Again, this is about an 8.0 to 8.5, maybe a 9.0 after pressing. This is signed by Chris Claremont on page 1. It is a newsstand variant. So that's issue 142 by the X-Men. So I want you to put, if you saw this auction ending and you had the chance to place a bid, what would be the highest bid you would have put that you would have been happy to win these? So, signed by Stan Lee on the cover of this book. It's about a 5.0 to a 5.5 after a pressing. Creamed off-white pages with some tanning on the bottom, but that's okay with a book in that range. And then a higher grade X-Men 142, Days of Future Past, newsstand with Chris Claremont's signature on page 1. So I'll give you guys a second if you want to look it up on eBay, because I tell people all the time, you shouldn't just assume, because the last thing you want to do is say, oh, I'd pay $700 for those two books, and find out that it's only worth $500, for example. Yeah, James Logan said Stan Lee probably signed hundreds of thousands. Yeah. So it's not rare, but again, I mean, I see so many channels tell you, oh, stay away from a book because it's not rare. Well, if it has 5 million copies of whatever and 10 million people want it, that means there's a 5 million deficit, which means 5 million people, if they want to acquire that item, would have to outbid each other to get it. So the whole supply and demand thing is what's relevant, not how many there are. Now, something could be overproduced, but as you could see, for example, a Stanley signed book will still get you, like I said, just for a signature alone, will add an extra $125 to $150, even though it's not even close to being rare. So it's desirability. You know, there's a lot of there's a lot of gorgeous women in the world. Tell me how many of you single straight men out there, or married men, if your wife isn't around, you want to admit it. How many of you would get tired of a beautiful woman day after day, and you'd stop and say, well, there's just too many of them? I mean, really? Come on. There's only fatigue if something's not worth having. And that's why Disney and Warner Brothers and other people in the Hollywood industry should really learn it's not about fatigue. It's about poor quality and not listening to your audience for agenda-driven narratives. So there is no fatigue. So let's see. See if anybody put any prices. All right, Papa Ken Comic says, I would say 300 for both. James Logan says 150 in my opinion. Now, James, 150 in your opinion. Remember, like I said, Stanley's signature alone is going to bring about 125 to $150 just for the signature. So we'll see what anybody else says, but Papa Ken Comics and More says he would say 300. Now remember, eBay also charges taxes and shipping and handling because this guy charged about roughly about $7 to $8 in shipping costs. So you guys know me, I always get deals. And again, this was an auction, not a best offer. Nobody else bid on it. So I won both of these books. The auction was $90. So after taxes and shipping and handling, I paid a grand total of $107, including everything. For a Stanley, now, this isn't a major grail or anything, but again, it is an early appearance of the new version of the X-Men. I think it's like their second or third appearance. It's signed by Stan Lee. Of course, there is no certificate of authenticity, so you do have to take the chance, but you do have to know his signature. This looks like he signed it a while ago. This doesn't look like in his, last moments, because it got bigger and sloppier as he got older. Oh, Donato, you retracted your price that you would have paid? I mean, be honest. I mean, if you would have paid 400 for the book, I don't blame you. I mean, if there was an auction for 400, I mean, to buy it now for 400, I bet you somebody would have bought these books. And again, Uncanny X-Men number 142. It is the Days of Future Past, which, yes, they did do a movie, but this is still a good series to read. It's a good comic still to own. It is a newsstand, and on page 1, it has Chris Claremont's signature. So if you would have seen this for a buy it now for 300 free shipping all in, I bet a lot of people would have paid for it. 150 people would have been fighting for it. But I got both of these as the only bidder for $90, and then after shipping and handling and taxes, came out to $107 total. So for me, that is a steal for those books. Now, of course, you always take the chance with authentications. But like I said, I have lots of books that are signed. I make sure I look at signatures and compare them to others. The easiest way to do it is you can go on eBay and see like yellow labeled CGC signed books because to get a yellow label, which even with that is not 100% guaranteed, and I'll even explain how even a yellow label doesn't guarantee it. But a yellow label is supposed to say that a CGC employee witnessed the signature, and I'll tell you that that is not always the case because I went to when I was living in New York, I went to my local comic shop who had a artist. I forget who was there because this was about 6 or 7 years ago. They had an artist there doing signings. Now, there was no one else but him, and then you had the store owner in the front doing sales. So there was no CGC representatives there at all. It was Scott, I forget his name, Scott something. He's an artist, not an artist, a writer. If anybody could fill in the blank, Scott Snyder. That's who it was. Nice guy, by the way. But Scott Snyder was there by himself. He was in the back of the comic book store. He was sitting at a table. I was actually the first in line. He had nobody around him. He signed my books. After I signed the books, I went to the front of the desk and had them send it to CGC for authentication, and it came back yellow label. Nobody witnessed it. Now, of course, he was there. The owner knew he was there. But again, Scott Snyder was all the way in the back of the comic book store. The owner was all the way up front doing sales. There would have been no way he would have been able to verify that he actually signed the book. I could have literally stood in line or pretended to stand in line, did a Scott Snyder scribble, and it could have came back a yellow label. So please keep in mind that even with CGC saying a yellow label means it's witnessed, I'm sure there are other people, if they're brave enough to put it in the comment section, to admit that they've gotten books signed themselves with no CGC witness and still got a CGC yellow label. So be careful out there. But like when I say when it comes to signatures, if you compare them and you compare several, odds are if something that you have is very similar, because remember, you're going to have people signing at different times in their life. There could be a person like Stan Lee that signed the first one for the day that you got, or the person that did the 5,000th for the day, your arm's going to be tired. Different times in your life, different days. So signatures are going to slightly vary. Nobody's signature is identical like a stamp, but you'll get a general idea of certain patterns in a signature. And if you can research those and look them up, you're going to fail more than you'll succeed. You'll succeed more than you'll fail. So I have no guarantee these are authentic because I wasn't there, and I'm going to get them verified. But again, I've looked them up. I have several of both of these, uh, Stanley and Chris Claremont's signatures, so they look relatively close to what I have. So we'll see what happens. But I think for $107 for those books, absolutely key. So I do this again. I don't do it to brag. I do it to try and show people that deals are out there. You just got to find them. You just got to know if something's a deal. And like I said, and this is why I ask people all the time to indicate what they'd pay for books. Because even though, for example, $300, if you did a best offer, if you somebody posted these two books with a buy it now for 300, I guarantee you somebody would have bought it. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for 300. But because I know the value of these books and I saw the auction and I did stay up late at night because, like I said, it ended approximately around 12:37 a.m. So close to 1 a.m. in the morning, and I am a late owl, night owl. Um, I was able to acquire these, but again, this was a 7-day auction and not one person bid except for me. I was the only bidder. So to win them at $90 and then after shipping and handling and taxes pay a total of $107, I'm perfectly fine with these, and I think I got an incredibly good deal. Because I guarantee you, I can turn around and sell that king size annual Stanley signature for at least 150, if not $200. Probably around 150. But that would mean I double my money right now. Even more than that, because if you take, it would be $53.50 a comic. Because no, because that yeah, because that'd be $107. So if you take $107 and divide it by two, and it shows, back in the days, us Gen Xers used to actually do things in their head. So it would be $53.50 a comic. You don't think I can sell that Stanley signatured book for 150 easily? So again, like I keep preaching to people and trying to show them, to hopefully inspire them, that you don't have to hold books for 10 years. You don't have to say to yourself, well, this is the wrong time to buy because the economy's bad, or this is the wrong time to buy because, the prices keep dropping, or it's the wrong time to sell. I could easily sell that book for 150 and somebody would buy it. I paid $53.50 for it. So again, if you find deals or make deals happen, even in a bad economy, even when the comic book community and the comic book market is on the downside right now, which it is, you can still make money. You just won't make more profit than normal, but any profit's better than no profit. I mean, how many of you right now would love to buy a book and be able to sell it that very day you get it for more than double what you paid for it? Because if I sold it for 150, I basically sold it for 300% of what I paid for it. 3 times the amount that I paid for it, roughly. Because it would actually have to come out to 159. But $9 off, roughly about 3 times what I paid for it, without having to do anything to it. So the deals are out there. If you want to keep listening to people that make you feel good because, misery loves company and people make excuses instead of making changes in their life. If you see video after video of mine, that's why I always ask people first before I mention a price, what would you pay for it? And if you watch every single video I've done, not one person said they would pay less than what I want it for, either in an auction or in an offer. So I'm trying to teach people and inspire them that these deals are out there. Stop listening to those that tell you everything is doom and gloom and everything's horrible and the earth is going to explode and, you're going to die tomorrow. I mean, if you want to listen to fear porn, that is an option, but don't be surprised you got everything in your life makes you scared. You know, I don't want to be the only one that keeps finding these deals. That's why I share these things and give all my secrets away on this channel, because I want you to succeed as well. So if you want to support me on patreon.com/we love comics, please do. Like I said, it helps with me continuing to get these deals that I can keep showing you. And hopefully by showing again and again and again and leading by example, it might finally start like inspiring people to do the same thing and stop the narrative of woe is me, times are hard, I'm never going to make it, and say, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to turn that around. Because here's the best thing if you try something new. If you try something new and you give it your all and you fail and it wasn't meant to be, you can always go back to your old ways. So what do you got to lose? I am not some guru when it comes to comics. I am not some master when it comes to comic books. And I'm not just lucky either, because lucky means you win every now and then. Lucky doesn't mean every single time I get a deal that I can easily double my money the very day I get it. That's not luck. That is skill. It takes effort. It takes time. It takes determination. It takes a way to think differently. Stop being so critical of yourself. Stop letting other people tell you that, you don't have to do anything because you're the victim and life is hard and blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, if you want to work out and get muscles, you got to lift heavy weights. Heavy weights are not easy to do. They are not fun to do. You're going to be in pain. You could be sore. You can even potentially injure yourself. So you have to have a certain amount of risk to be able to receive the reward at the end. If you want to sit there at the gym and complain how smelly the gym is and how sweaty the gym is and how hard it is to work out and how you hate to have to leave your house and how you can injure yourself and how you're tired and how you don't want to do it and blah, 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 don't be surprised that you're 400 pounds and you're having heart problems at 40 years old. If you don't want to put in the effort, you're not going to reach the reward. It's that simple. Now, with the world the way it is and free will given to us, you can choose to do that. But if you choose to sit on your couch and say, woe is me, life is hard, I can't do anything, why would you be shocked that the response to that is that you aren't having anything coming to you? You're not doing anything to better your life, and your life is not improving. It's probably getting worse, or at the very least, staying stagnant. That is why a pond is full of muck and is green, because it's filled with bacteria and different types of germs and different types of moss and different types of things that stagnate the water. Because why? It's not moving. You ever see a dirty stream? And I'm not talking about somebody dumping waste or garbage in a stream. I'm talking about a regular flowing natural stream. The reason it's clear is it keeps moving. So if you want to be a pond, don't be surprised your life is filled with muck. If you want to be crystal clear and go with the flow, be a stream. Just like Bruce Lee once said, be like water or not. It's up to you. So if all of you don't want to put in the effort for whatever reasons, because you don't have the time, or it's too hard, or it's going to take too long, or you don't think you can do it, or everybody's just telling you can't do it, I'll be happy to keep finding these deals all the time, and I'll just make videos and show you. Or you can be somebody that maybe one day outbid me, found a better deal, made a better deal happen, changed your life for the better. All of a sudden went from I can't do it to I can't believe I waited this long to do it. Choice is up to you. If you want to live a life, I suggest living one that's at least positive, or at least a potential of positivity. You get what you give. If you give nothing, don't be shocked that you'd get nothing. The world is not obligated to hand you everything because you're special. You're special because you do the things that you do to help the world become special. If you want to listen to people that just make you feel better, that you can be justified to be the victim, okay, you'll spend your whole life being victimized. If you want to listen to the comic book collaborators out there, and I'm not saying they're evil, and I'm not even saying they're wrong, because is the economy bad? It sure is. Is the comic book community in a mess? It sure is. Are comic book values going down in price? They sure are. But does that mean you can't make money? I mean, look at the books I challenge anybody right now to watch my last 10, just my last 10 videos of comic book prices that I either made a deal on from a best offer or won on an auction, and tell me, do you think I'm lucky? Or do you think I put in the effort and put in the knowledge and put in the time to do this? I have a video on my channel that teaches you my secrets. So if you wanted to go to Patreon at patreon.com/we love comics, plug for me, you will not find information that you have to pay for because I give it away freely. My Patreon is just for people who say, you know what? This person has helped me, or this person has inspired me, or this person is actually doing something like helping stray animals to survive. I like that, so I'm going to support this person. But all the information, all of my secrets are on my channel for free. If you don't want to listen to them because, people have been convinced to tell you you have to pay for information, well, go right ahead. Or you could just listen to me because I care more about just myself. Because if I succeed and I'm the only one that succeeds, that's not good for the world. But if I succeed and you succeed and your friends and family succeed and everybody succeeds, well, that's a pretty happy place, don't you think? So it's not me being selfish. I could easily have spent years never sharing any information like this and just showing comics like so many people do on in the comic book quote unquote community. I'm trying to inspire you. Now, many people say many words, but they don't back them up. Look at the deals that I get time and time again. The times I lost money on comics was when I was wasting my money every week going to Comic Book Wednesdays and buying the new number one comic or the new first appearance of a character that nobody ends up caring about and is forgotten within a month. The newest, latest, quote unquote, rare variants out there. That's where I lost all of my money. I stopped buying new books about 3 or 4 years ago and just started focusing on key issues, grail issues, and things like this that are way undervalued. If you change your focus, you're going to change your life, you'll change your attitude, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you can have positive things in your life. Up to you. So, like I say all the time, hardly anybody ever watches my videos, hardly anybody listens to my advice, hardly anybody comments about it, and that's fine. I'm not here to be your father or your mother and make you do something. I'm here to show you examples that who is not a millionaire and does not have a trust fund and cannot just buy any comic he wants at any time, if I can succeed, you can succeed. Because those of you who've been following me for a while, my life has not been easy. Make no mistakes, I am on no gravy train. But that doesn't stop me to be as successful as I can with the effort that I'm willing to put in. And I want to share that with you all, the very few people that watch me and the even fewer that listen to me, to succeed. But I'm not your mother, I'm not your father. And if you want to listen to people that will make you feel better, that, woe is you, you're the victim, you'll never get it, and life is too hard, if that's the people you want to listen to, by all means, I'm not stopping you. So with that being said, if you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/we love comics. You'll get your name up and shouted out every single video that I do. Once we get to 20 paid members, I got giveaways that I will mail anywhere around the world and I will pay the shipping. The giveaways increase as you go. You'll get one entry for every $2 that you put in. And if you want to critique the AI art, by all means, please do. So let's do today's surprise subscriber shout out. Since we only had a few people in the live chat, we're going to give the surprise subscriber shout out to everybody. So Papa Ken Comics and More, James Logan, Donato, even though you did retract your comment, Agu Rhythm, and Jack Banks. It says, needed this live. Thanks, Chris. You're welcome. I'm glad. I'm here to help. I'm here to inspire. I think that's why my channel is not going to be the way it once was, because I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. This is a channel for people that want to have a life change and need to hear things to kick their ass into gear. So, Jeremy, you're also going to be the surprise subscriber shout. It says, Greta Vid. How dare you? If anybody knows who says that, I mean, I basically gave half the answer away of the name of the person. Put that in the comment section. But you guys have been around for a while, so you know what to do. Once the video uploads, in the comment section, you could put a link either to your YouTube channel, your social network, or your auction, eBay auction site if you have one, or your own personal business website. I'll leave it up to you. Always keep in mind that for any link, it's going to automatically go to spam first. This keeps trolls and spammers from putting inappropriate links onto my channel. And like I say, trust me, they try every time, but I'm just too smart for these people. Um, so if you see the link in the comment section, it means that I verified it. And hopefully you'll go and show the comic book community what a comic book community is all about. Go checking out their YouTube channel or go following them on Instagram and all the other things to be kind. So if you want to leave a comment after the beep, by all means, please do. Let me know what you thought about these deals. Would you have bought them for the price that I bought them? And honestly, tell me, what price would you have paid before you found out the price? And if you want to critique the AI art, please do. So thank you as always for watching. I really appreciate you all. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, it is not you. It is not I. It is We Love Comics. Have a wonderful Monday. And don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Peace out, everybody.